JacobBøtter, Unboss. Embark on a transformative journey with Unboss, a book that challenges and revolutionizes traditional management concepts to create highly purpose-driven organizations. The summary will delve into the need for shifting from conventional hierarchical structures to dynamic, collaborative networks. Unboss presents an altered leadership mindset that empowers employees, fosters innovation, and harnesses the power of purpose over profitability. Discover how adopting the Unboss ideology can transform your organization into an unstoppable force, building loyal relationships and ensuring both competitiveness and sustainability.
Embracing a new era of management. In the past, senior executives believed that hierarchical management was the only way to run a company. However, changes in the world have made this approach a hindrance. Today, social media and other factors make organizational barriers far less rigid than they once were, highlighting the need for companies to embrace a new era of management. Kodak is a prime example of a company that failed to adapt. To succeed, organizations must prioritize purpose over profit and shift their focus to collaborative values. Traditional thinking assumes that every transaction must produce winners and losers, but knowledge-driven organizations need collaborative employees with multiple skills. Embracing this new approach will help organizations stay viable and succeed in the future. Building collaborative organizations. Contemporary businesses must function as collaborative networks that prioritize the inclusion of employees, suppliers, and contractors. By setting clear goals, they attract collaborators such as customers, vendors, manufacturers, and advertising agencies. Social media has transformed the relationship between businesses and customers, and companies must now view them as strategic allies rather than mere monetizable entities. This marks a significant departure from traditional business models which valued financial metrics above all else, and shows that success now depends on an organization's ability to foster meaningful relationships with all stakeholders. Embracing the Unbossed approach. Organizations must discard outdated hierarchical concepts and embrace new innovations network-wide if they want to outperform their competitors. The Unboss approach can save organizations facing extinction by inspiring and empowering employees to make decisions. In this approach, leaders shun traditional symbols that set them apart and instead become part of the organization, creating trust and empowering their team. The focus shifts from solely cutting costs to encouraging innovation and becoming responsive and responsible to society and the environment. Profit remains important, but purpose builds companies. By embracing the Unbossed viewpoint, an organization can transform into a social institution. Purpose attracts loyalty from all stakeholders, creating an organization that resembles a social movement where employees work because they believe in what they do, becoming trusted colleagues. With the Unbossed approach, employees have the freedom to decide where they should work, making an organization's motivation more natural and productive. Purpose-driven organizations. Creating value that aligns with an organization's purpose leads to a profitable outcome. The pioneers of railways in the U.S. intended to build a grand corridor through the country and sold land to millions of people to help achieve the American dream. Today, U.S. railroad companies have become complacent and lost connection with their core values. A company's purpose should have a positive impact on the world, employees, customers, and stakeholders. Purpose-driven organizations attract people who want to bring value to the world. Therefore, money is a byproduct of the value generated by an organization. Use the obituary test to evaluate whether a company provides value and affects its stakeholders in a meaningful way. The rise of unbossed organizations. In traditional management, if you had a good idea, you had to tread carefully. Few subordinates ever manage to get their ideas accepted, resulting in a negative outcome that is debilitating for today's knowledge-based firms. Unbossed organizations organize their work as projects, allowing people to participate and work to professional standards. In companies driven by knowledge, team leaders have a greater sense of the company's strategy and how their team should function, supplanting middle managers. Middle managers allocate work to subordinates but do not do the work themselves. However, many management practices such as appraising performance or preparing budgets are over a century old and out of sync with today's employees' mindset. Companies require great purpose and movement to succeed, like Apple, whose competitors are also capable of producing beautiful products but lack a cause. Organizations should help mold and educate workers, allowing employees to choose their own guides and mentors. The evolving workforce. In modern times, knowledge-based companies require partners, not just employees who blindly follow orders. Engaged and passionate employees who have the freedom to choose their own working hours and are treated as individuals achieve the purpose of their organization. Financial reward systems must be fair for all. The traditional approach of relying on specialists in narrow areas of expertise is no longer effective. Collaboration and coordination across multiple departments have become necessary for modern organizations to succeed. Unbossed companies. In contrast to traditional top-down corporate communication, unbossed companies prioritize transparency and encourage open communication among employees. While traditional companies often hide problems and use public relations to reinforce a message, unbossed companies accept and address issues by seeking help both within and outside the company. The leaders of these companies understand the importance of building loyalty among a diverse group of stakeholders, including employees, customers, and suppliers. Through this approach, unbossed companies create a culture of trust and promote innovation. The importance of corporate integrity. In the past, companies believed that bombarding customers with advertising was enough to convince them to buy their products or services, regardless of the truthfulness of the message. However, in the age of the internet, honesty and transparency are crucial to establishing a company's integrity. Customers now trust the observations and experiences of other customers over corporate messaging. Companies must show their humanity and communicate honestly to succeed. Embracing positive and negative feedback can improve the quality of a company's offerings. Building customer loyalty. The traditional sales method to attract customers is no longer effective if you want to keep their loyalty. Instead, you need to inspire or manipulate them. Focusing only on making sales could result in failing to prioritize the customer's interests. The Net Promoter Score provides a useful tool for dividing customers into 3 groups based on their likelihood to recommend your product or company. Rather than manipulating your clients, focus instead on showing them the value and passion behind your purpose. Building customer loyalty creates a client base that will choose your product even if they find a better competitor. The key is to create an emotional connection with your customers. Finally, an unbossed company, which collaborates with suppliers to provide mutual sustainable value, gains long-term competitive strength. Sharing your research with the world, rather than keeping it confidential, opens up numerous opportunities for improvement and growth.
As the book summary of the Unbossed reveals, the time has come to discard outdated management concepts and embrace a new vision imbued with purpose, agility, and collaboration. The Unbossed leadership style empowers employees, fosters knowledge sharing, and builds strong relationships with stakeholders by prioritizing purpose above profit. By shifting towards this new paradigm, organizations experience renewed passion, innovation, and loyalty, ultimately thriving in the ever-changing landscape of the modern world. Embrace the Unbossed ethos today and witness how it creates transformative ripples within your organization, community, and society at large.